Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. I'm your English teacher Zia. I welcome you to English grade 7 video lessons. My dear learners, after finishing and completing our previous unit, we are on our unit number 5 of grade 7, and let's go through the title and introduce you with the theme and the sub-theme, and after that we will be covering a very short quick overview of the theme of the lesson. So our unit number 5's title is Empowered Women, Nation Builders. The theme is on gender equality and equity, and our sub-theme is Role of Women in Development of Society. So our lesson that you have probably read, if not then you're going to read it very soon, is based on the theme of this chapter and the sub-theme. Now let's look at our overview to understand very quickly that what the chapter is about and what kind of message we are getting from it. So for our unit number 5, Empowered Women, Nation Builders, this chapter highlights the achievements of remarkable women and the importance of empowering them through education. It features Shahida Abbasi, a karate champion known for her dedication and perseverance, Dr. Sarah Qureshi, an aerospace engineer who developed a pollution-free aircraft engine, and Jahan Ara, a tech entrepreneur and advocate for women's empowerment. These stories emphasize how educated women contribute significantly to various fields, inspiring others and driving societal progress. So this was a quick overview. This is about 3 different women who are doing so much for their representation, and they are inspiring so many other people, specifically other women. So we will be now getting started with our lecture series. Now I'm going to introduce you each lecture with the SLO with a little description so that you get ready for the next lecture series that you will be covering. So for lecture number 1, our SLO is use different types of adjectives, regular, irregular, and absolute to describe, modify, quantify nouns or pronouns. So this is about adjectives, which we know is a part of speech, and we will be covering these different mentioned adjectives so that we can use them effectively. Moving on with our lecture number 2, we will be covering an SLO, change and use degrees of adjectives, positive, comparative, superlative of varying syllables, and irregular degree. So now again, this is about using adjectives. In this one, we will be learning about different degrees. They are positive, comparative, and superlative, and we will also be seeing them in varying different syllables and also the irregular degree of adjectives. Now moving on with our lecture number 3, we will be covering an SLO. It says locate the varying position of adjectives in sentences, where the adjectives are, how they are positioned. So we will be covering again our adjectives, but in the sense of where they are positioned. Moving on with our lecture number 4, which is divided in different parts. For lecture 4A, this is our SLO, which says form adjectives from nouns and verbs. So we will be making our adjectives from the other different parts of speech, which are noun and verbs. So this will be taught to you with examples, and also for your practice, we will be covering different classroom activities. And moving on with lecture number 4B, our students' learning outcome will be about using adjectival phrases in sentences and speech. The key term over here is adjectival phrases. Now this thing is made up of 2 words, adjectives and phrases, which we are familiar with. Now we will be finding how the adjectival phrases, what they are and how they can be found in text and how they can be used in our speech and writing. Now Next one, we have our lecture number 5. It says, our student learning outcome is explain the meaning of words from how they are used in different contexts, use of contextual clues, and identifying the word belong to. So now, this is about explaining the meaning of how they are used in different contexts, different contextual clues will be used, and we will be identifying where the word belongs to, where does it come from, how are we going to use it. Next one, we have our lecture number 6. The SLO is guess the meaning of the word and phrases in the text. Compare with the dictionary meaning to understand the contextual meaning. Read and view a variety of reading age appropriate and high interest books, personal recounts, for example, diary, entries, biographies. So, now these are two SLOs merged in one because they are sharing the same purpose. First of all, we will be guessing the meaning of the word or the phrases in our text, and we are going to compare those words, the dictionary meaning, to understand the contextual meaning. So we will be using dictionary for this purpose, and then we are going to read age appropriate and high interest books. We will be reading biographies, our diary entries, etc. And now for lecture number 7, which is divided in different parts. For 7A, the SLO says to engage in extended discussions and debates, taking into account other speakers' viewpoints and presenting one's own with clarity and coherence. So this is about your oral communication. You will be engaging in long extended discussions and debates, taking into account other speakers' viewpoints. It means you have to listen to them as well, and presenting one's own with clarity and coherence. It means that it should be connected and the message should be clear. Now moving on, after oral communication students learning outcome, this is our lecture number 7B. This is about the competency of writing. It says, write a simple descriptive composition. In that, you will be giving physical description and characteristics or traits of a person or object or place, moving from general to specific, using correct punctuation, complex vocabulary, and spelling. Using the process approach, brainstorm, mind mapping, writing a first draft and final draft, and using summary skills to write an objective summary of the given text. So, now in this students learning outcome, which we can see that there are 3 mentioned in one lecture because they are interconnected, we will be writing about, descriptive compositions, and in that we will be following the different elements and components along with summarizing it in our own word, writing objective summary, and also following the process approach of writing that include different steps, and the planning for writing steps are mentioned in our students learning outcome. So we will be covering all these things in our lecture. So at the end, I would like to thank you for listening to this introductory lecture. I hope that you have learned a lot from it and you are all ready and set for our lecture series. I'll see you on the other side with lecture number 1 of Unit 5. Allah Hafiz.